And there we are. Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. I know I've been gone from the channel for a little bit. I needed to take a break from some of the toxic things that were going on, and I needed to get a new perspective. And make sure that when you come in, please drop a like for me. Um, make sure that you forward these videos. If you like these videos, forward them to a friend, somebody with like interests. Um, and I wanted to say that this uh, live stream is being brought to you by Beneath the Haunted Sky, the evidence for alien abduction. And we have some important stuff to talk about today. Uh, that, and if you want to help the channel, please like, please subscribe. Please go to the description underneath this video and see how you can support the channel and choose the way that suits you the best. We appreciate you. We thank you. Um, I got to keep these kids in catnip and cat food. You know what I mean? Uh, I got 4 babies who you will hear and probably see throughout this video. Um, and we appreciate your help and support. But more importantly, it's paramount to get the truth out to everyone. And the truth is not what you're being told. And that's the subject of this video. You see, I ended up getting into some real heated arguments with YouTubers. YouTubers. Hey, Garrett. Hey, Chris. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you very much. You are my friends, and I love you. Um, yeah, so I ended up getting into some arguments with some YouTubers. Cyman Dan, who shall henceforth forever be known as Lyman Dan to me, and Planer Walk, uh, and people like this. And I realized something. Um, this is nonsense. Okay, this is nonsense. These people are YouTubers. They're YouTubers. What do I care what YouTubers think about my experiences or my truth? Cyman Dan, he said, "Oh, well, I'm 99.9% sure that this isn't a real phenomenon." Oh, well, that's very convenient. When you have looked at 0.01% of the evidence, you are going to be 99.9% unconvinced. And these people are lazy. They are content creators. They're not scientists. They don't do science for a living, right? I do science for a living. I've written books that are #1 bestseller in the physics of gravity and cosmology and astronomy and UFOs. These people have YouTube channels. They've accomplished nothing. They never will, by the way. And I think it's important to know that. Hi, Emmy. Nice to see you. Glad you made it. Um, so, but they won't ever accomplish anything. Simon Dan has 600,000 subscribers. Okay. And you know what he specializes in? Arguing with people about the fact that the earth is round. The earth is round. Yes, the earth is round. Yes, we know. And he wants to find the 7 contrarians on the planet and argue with them, mm, to try to big himself up, to make himself look so intelligent when we all know the earth's round, bro. You can stop beating that horse. Planer Walk now, all he talks about is basically trans rights, and he tries to get in on other people's YouTube fights and stuff like that. They are cannibals. Basically, they're YouTube cannibals who find something to attack. That's all they do. They don't do any actual research. They don't make any breakthroughs. What they make is hot dog water. It is monkey porn, and it is ridiculous. I have no need to argue with these people any more than I have the need to argue with flat earthers. You believe the earth's flat? Cool, bro. You change nothing. You change nothing in the world. No one's going to, there's not going to be a flat earth movement where the people all over the globe are going to start believing that it's a pancake. You're not going to change anything. You're just a guy out shouting in the darkness and the wilderness, and science proves differently. No, no, no. My my fight, really, and I hope you give me some likes on this because I'm telling the truth here. My fight is with mainstream academia. My fight is with the celebrities of science, the Michio Kakus, who I like. I think he's a very charming person, but he says nonsense. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I personally loathe and can't stand, but even if I couldn't stand him, if he was talking sense, I would say you got to listen to the man. But he doesn't talk sense. He gaslights this subject of alien abduction, of UFOs, of the actual existence of extraterrestrials. And this is where my fight is going now. And I want you to join me, please. I want you to like and subscribe and support and buy the book. And more importantly than buying the book, read the book because I drop a lot of truth bombs in there. Um, hey, Debbie. Oh, hey. Wicked, what's up? Nice to see you. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Please drop a like for me. It really helps out. And I want to start bringing a lot more attention to the channel. I don't know if you noticed, I revamped the look of the channel a little bit. And I'm doing my best to. I want to start producing more consistent content. But to do that, I really need your support. It means a lot to me. But I want to address, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you're watching, and you probably are because it's about you and you're a narcissist, I want to confront you. Neil deGrasse, I don't want to debate Simon Dan. I don't want to debate Plainer Walk. Okay. I don't want to debate Professor Dave. I want to debate Neil deGrasse Tyson. I want to debate Michio Kaku. I want the biggest names in science to answer to me, to answer to you about some of the things that they say that actually lead us off the path of truth. Now, what am I talking about? I am talking about. Let's go with something I just saw the other day, and this is what really put a bee in my bonnet. All right, when asked about aliens, about UFOs, things like this. Um, what I like is that Neil deGrasse Tyson always wants to point to things that are possibly fake, maybe fake, or whatever, because there's fakes of everything, right? There isn't a single aspect of human life that you can't find a false framework for, right? Um, the humans do like to produce fraudulent things at times. Okay? Not all humans and not all the time, but it does happen. And there's fakes and frauds in every aspect of life. I mean, uh, not just science, but religion. There's fake religious people, right? They're not really religious. They're just scamming you. There's people who aren't really abducted. They're just scamming you. And the thing that I find is that I will call out both sides. When science is being unfair, I call it out. When I feel like someone is BSing about some abduction experience they had, I call it out. When I see grift, I call out grift, plain and simple. And Neil deGrasse Tyson wants to be a celebrity, not a scientist. He is in love with the sound of his own voice. He is a narcissist staring in the mirror at his beautiful, beautiful reflection. But I have to tell you something. Shill Cosby is lying to you. Let me give you an example. When I saw this short, I was like, I must confront this because this is bad science. And when I tell you this, hit the like button, please. All right, we're shipping likes right now. But he said when he was asked about aliens and about the UFO phenomenon, and he said Carl Sagan said that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Oh, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Oh, yes. That really clicks in the head, but it's wrong. And it's a lie. There are no extraordinary claims, my friend. There are only claims. There is no extraordinary evidence. There is only evidence. To The way science works is that the threshold for evidence does not get increased based on your or inability to believe in it. Just because you find it difficult to believe in something does not raise the threshold of evidence. Carl Sagan said that, right? It made that quote famous. Then Neil deGrasse Tyson is repeating it, this third party affirmation that well, it's not me speaking. This is Carl Sagan, who's sacred, right? He's practically sacrosanct. But Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson have lied to you about the premise of what science is all about. There are no extraordinary claims. That is a human value placed over something. We do not do that in science. If someone says, I believe this is true, then you don't say, oh, well, that's an extraordinary claim simply because you don't want to believe in it or you find it hard to accept. And you also don't demand extraordinary evidence. We demand evidence. If you say that the world is flat, well, okay, well, then prove that. And so far, no one's been able to do that, not successfully, right? So the world remains round. However, these people who claim to want extraordinary evidence, sorry, I have to shoo a cat. Kids, am I right? My fur babies drive me nuts, but I love them. But these people who require extraordinary evidence, which is not scientific to begin with, can't even tell you what evidence on this subject is. How do you prove an uncatchable phenomenon? Hmm? Like I said in another video, these scientists, and these are aerial and uncatchable phenomenon. Am I right? Like UFOs, lightning, these are uncatchable things that we witness, that we see, but we can't grab a hold of it and stick it in a jar and hand it to someone to test. There must be another standard of evidence applied. And these scientists, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Michio Kaku, go back to Carl Sagan, none of these people who are supposed to be these gigantic scientific minds could prove the existence of lightning using the same standard that they use for UFOs. And when I say UFO, I mean alien spacecraft. Okay? And I'm going to get into that too. But they say, "Oh, well we have pictures of lightning." Ah, CGI, Photoshop, could be anything. Unreliable. Right? Oh, well, we have videos of lightning. Okay, well, we have videos of UFOs. Well, we can see the effects of when lightning strikes the ground. Yeah, we have ground effects from where UFOs have touched the planet. I have pictures myself. Um, well, people have been struck by lightning. Yes, and I've been abducted. How far down the road do we need to go with this before we say, oh no, that evidence does track? That's fair. Because all we can do is collect the evidence we can collect and go off of that. And we must, as scientists, we must fill in the blanks. We must solve the variables using the information we have at hand. In fact, that is the purpose of science. If all we need to do is be hit in the head with a brick every time for something to be true, well, then practically nothing would be true in science, because sure, it's easy to say I want a ship or I want a body. Yeah, sure, but at that point you are unnecessary. Now we have the physical manifestation of something that was once uncatchable. We don't have a way to do that. And the people who demand the evidence also cannot define what evidence is or explain to you how to get that evidence. Do you know what Michio Kaku's great brainstorm was? This is a guy who's supposed to be brilliant. And his idea of how to prove alien abduction is steal something off the ship. Really? That's the best you have? You know why? Because he even can't think of anything that goes, oh, yeah. Well, see, that's because he doesn't have any experience. And what I've done is I've tried to create a chain of evidence in my book, Beneath the Haunted Sky. See in the comment description on how to acquire that tome of knowledge on this subject, my personal experiences, my decades of evidence that I have compiled into one book for you with my experiences. I They've communicated with me. I show you what they look like through drawings. I have a chain of evidence that takes you from the sky, where I have clear photographs of them, to the ground, where they leave ground marks and impressions and burns, to me, where they leave the same marks on me every time that I've remembered an abduction experience. These marks accompany them. And then I can tell you what they look like. I had live conscious interactions with these beings, the ones they call the grays, the little grays. And they told me things, and I tell you what they said to me. And I think that you'd be very surprised at some of the things they had to say. And you can find that out by getting that book, which supports the truth. It supports abduction survivors, and it will propagate the truth and the evidence to everyone. We need to take a different tact. We need to stop letting scientists tell us how to think. We need to talk to these scientists, because they say, oh, well, UFOs, oh, it means unidentified. Eh, it's unidentified to you. But ask any abduction survivor when they look in the sky if they know what they're looking at or not. And generally they do. There is something about being abducted that gives you hyper awareness. That, and by the way, I have misidentified many things um, in my years of looking at the sky. I'm always happy to be wrong, because there have been times that I have misidentified things as prosaic objects, and it has nearly gotten me abducted. So that misidentification goes both ways. But they say, oh, well, we don't know what they are. They're just shapes in the sky, and they could be anything. But see, they um, that's why they put down abduction experiencers. And the reason they put down abduction experiencers, why we are the most ignored part of this entire phenomenon, is because we are the crucial link that explains what's in the sky. You see, I've been inside those craft. I've seen the operators. I can describe them. I can tell you lots and lots about them. And I am the person, and abductees are the people who connect the dots and actually make the link between what's in the sky and who's in there. And people want to reject this because it's scary, right? It's a scary idea. But we must not shrink from the truth. We must move forward. We must embrace the future. We must embrace the facts, or else they will consume us. You see, the fact that we don't believe uh, corporately that extraterrestrials are the ones operating these craft, that they can do so with impunity, that is actually feeding that monster. You see, the fact that we don't believe is the reason we don't respond. You see, the reason that we are unprepared, the reason that these things could cover right over a military base and shut off nuclear missiles just instantly. You see, people don't want to know that. They don't want to think about that. They don't want to address it. Well, that has never stopped anything from happening. It will only make it worse. It is perpetuating the issues that we face with not just national security, but global security as well. This is not a national phenomenon. I know a lot of things do tend to happen in America. They've happened to me, and I live in America. Um, but this happens all over the world. Every country practically has at least one very famous UFO incident. And these incidents are involving alien species. And we must come to grips with that we are not the center of the universe, that we are not unique snowflakes who exist outside of the realm of, like, oh, we're a miracle. No, we're common. And in fact, not only are we common because we are a sentient species, but we are one of the lowest tier. sentient species on the planet. And we need to get over ourselves, thinking that we're so clever, we're so smart, and we're so special. We are not. What we are naive and vulnerable. And I had to find that out through the trauma of ontological shock. And what I am doing as a good and responsible guardian is I am conveying that information to you because I want you to know without having to go through what I have. And it never ceases to amaze me how much people will mock the truth rather than listen to it. The resistance to truth is one of mankind's greatest faults, that we don't believe each other. Everybody's on the take, everybody's on the grift, right? You know? And no, I'm certainly not in this for the money or the fame. If I wanted to be famous, if I wanted to be well paid, you know what I'd do? Is I'd start a channel arguing with people over the fact that the earth is round. I would start making hot dog water because that's what people seem to want. People don't seem to want to face the truth. They don't want to face the ugly facts. They want hot dog water. They want monkey porn. They don't want real science because real science takes some thought, doesn't it? It takes some effort. You have to challenge yourself and challenge your notion of what is real. And that's what good science does, is it challenges our perception of reality. Because science, in a nutshell, is the correct perception, interpretation, and explanation of reality. That is the heart of science, the core of what makes science valuable. And anyone who argues against that is a liar, and they do a disservice to our species. Because people who say extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence is not scientific. Whenever you hear someone say that, you know that they have a cognitive bias toward the truth. And people who have a cognitive bias toward the truth are unable to be scientific. People think that, and this is the standby of the mediocre. Yes, is to take the immediate stance of skepticism. This is a disability intellectually. To automatically take the stance of I don't believe. This is wrong. This is prejudice. This is scientific prejudice. Neutrality, not skepticism. You see, because people want to fall on the side of skepticism while they're uneducated. Uneducated skepticism is unjustified skepticism. The same as unjustified belief. I don't have time for either of those types of thought. Unjustified belief is dangerous. Unjustified skepticism is dangerous. We must, as scientists, as a species, we must be able to be neutral and say, let's hear this person out. Let's see what evidence they bring forth. Let's hear their testimony. Let's look at what is there and compare that to what we already know. Now, there's being fair. That's being scientific. And I would really appreciate if you guys would drop a like, if you would support the channel, if you would subscribe, um, and pass the word along. That's the other thing too. You know, this channel has been built very slowly, brick by brick, one person at a time, because I'm trying to call the smartest people, not just numbers, not just anyone. This is for intelligent people, for brave people. This is for people who are ready to face the truth. And I applaud them. I applaud all of you who do so. If you drop me a like, if you subscribe to this channel, if you watch my videos, if you listen to my testimony, you look at my evidence, and you're being fair with me, you're my friend. You're not just a subscriber, you're my friend. And that means a lot. Um, because we have to face the new world. Simon Dan is arguing with people about knowledge that is hundreds of years old, you know, and I'm arguing with astrophysicists about the future, because this subject is the future. What shape the earth is the far past. I want to talk about the future, and I'm interested in talking to people who want to see the future too. This is the most important topic. I know that the election is very important coming up here in the United States, and I think the world is probably watching and holding its breath. The subject of extraterrestrials, the subject of alien abductions, is even more important than that. That's how important it is. And we don't have enough people who are willing to come forward and talk about it. I'm one of the few. And if you're brave enough to speak up, well, then you must be crazy. You must be on the take. And, I have something to say about that as well. And then I'll get to some comments. I know you guys have been chatting and everything. And I just wanted to focus on this and get some of these points out. But um, here, quick drink. Having a bit of coffee tonight. I had a little too much fun earlier today, and I'm shaking off the cobwebs. But uh, so, in my channel description and in my bio, it is I put in there that I'm a member of Mensa and that I'm a best-selling author. I've received some recognition for that. I've been had a couple little TV spots, whatever. And people say, "Oh, whenever I hear," I just comment. So people make comments about me being in Mensa, and they say, "Oh, well, whenever I hear someone say they're in Mensa, I automatically disqualify everything they say." Oh, well, that's wonderful. Do you see what has happened to our society, where we have become not just anti-intellectual, but aggressively anti-intellectual? The common denominator of intellect in this world has demanded we cater to it. You see, and I refuse. I cater to the top, the cream of the crop in this case, that I want to appeal to intelligent people, not just everyone, because it will be intelligent people who bring this up, who bring this about, and who bring about disclosure. It will not be the mediocre, you see. But I would think there's room for everyone to learn on this topic, and to reject someone for saying, "Hey, and the only reason I bring it up isn't to brag. I don't. That doesn't mean much to me. I think personally, it's a little badge that I keep you know, inside, and I say, "Hey, you did that." But it's really more about to tell you, I'm not wasting your time. I'm a highly intelligent person. I'm a sane person because people who aren't sane do not accomplish what I've accomplished in my life. I've worked very, very hard to accomplish the things I have. And I am a lucid and sane person who was gifted with a keen mind and high perception. And I have used these tools that I've been given to further the betterment of humanity. And that never ceases to be met with ridicule because people would rather be mean than be wrong. Yeah. Um, and they listen to the worst people. Um, People who are still watching Simon Dan's channel and hearing him argue with flat earthers, that's where you are. You're fourth grade. And I'm not trying to appeal to that. I want Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you hear me, Star Talk? At Star Talk, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I dare you to debate me on this subject because I'm going to be the one person you are not going to bully on this subject. I own this topic because I have lived it. You haven't even read about it. You haven't read about it. You haven't studied it. You have not poured any of your amazing intellect into this topic, or else you would be arguing on my behalf instead of against people like me. People like myself are victims of scientific neglect, and it is time to address it and to call these people on the carpet, to call them out for their lies, to call them out for their disinformation, for their propaganda, which is really what it is. And it is propaganda that is gratefully swallowed by the masses who wish for it to not be true. That's what they're doing. They're playing to an audience who wants to hear that it's not true so they can sleep easy at night while I haven't slept at night in years. And the reason is because of the trauma associated with alien abduction and ontological shock that I wish to spare them. The people who mock me are the people I'm trying to spare from these experiences. That I can tell you, yes, I know, baby. And I'm trying to spare everyone the pain of learning these things firsthand. And I want people to be able to hear these things and learn from my experience without having to go through the experience, to save them pain, to save them damage. Yeah. Yes, honey. I'm sorry. My girl Nacha, she's a needy one. Drop a like for the kitty cats for me. They're part of the show. um, but I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to get to some comments. Let's go ahead and let's talk some turkey here. What's going on? Let me catch up. Um, so glad finally seeing these streams. Got some food now. I'll chill and watch. Hey, I'm glad to have you. Hi, Amy. Um, Wicked Mo 13, glad to have you here. Debbie, where have you been? You dropped off the planet. I thought you'd been abducted. Crying out loud. Um, NDT's appearances in cartoons confirms it all. Yeah. Oh, by the way, they cast him as a weasel. I think somebody knew what they were doing there. That's all I'm saying. That is funny though, isn't it? They're like, "Oh, you want to be in the Ice Age movie? Okay, you're a weasel." uh, um, he doesn't even realize that the Greys have control over you and your body against your will. You can't just get off the table and take something. Even if you did, they notice. I know. You think that this species that travels, through space and time at will are unaware of shoplifting. They don't they it doesn't work that way. And obviously it's a statement made out of ignorance, and it's contemptuous ignorance at that, I say. Um let's see. Is public service is thankless. Yes, Chris, I know. I know. But you know what? Not always. Like I get people who want to, give a fitty for the kitty. They buy coffees, they buy the book, they send me emails. I do get something out of this. People do tend they support things sometimes, and I hope that you do. It's very important because without you, I will be silenced. I will be silent. They've tried. And I'm just look, I'm the potty mouth, unapologetic bad boy of science. I'm the Tony Stark of the trailer park, and I don't care about consequences. I care about truth. There is no set of consequences that will be imposed upon me. This is why people say, "Oh, um uh have the men in black ever come to see you?" No, because they want to remain safe. Because I got to tell you, the men in black come to my house and we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a big problem. And it's not going to be my problem. It's going to be their problem. They're going to be the men in black and blue when I'm done because I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be silenced. No matter what people say, I'm going to keep telling the truth anyway. And I do it for practically nothing, which is why your support is so important to me. Why your likes are important, your subscribes are important, your emails, your messages. When you're on the Discord and you have something great and positive to say, it lifts me up. It lets me know this isn't all in vain, that I'm not just wandering in the wilderness talking to no one, that I really am being heard. Let's see. What else we got here? I got my autographed books right next to me. Oh yeah. I'm glad you got your books. I remember the last live stream. I was like, "Oh, your book." But I got them out to you. I keep my word. and I'm glad that you're enjoying them, Garrett. Please read the book and let me know what you think about it. That's what I want everyone to do. And how many authors, especially best-selling authors, are like, "Hey, read my book, and I want you to personally tell me what you think about it." I love Graham Hancock. He's named me as his author of the month twice. I don't think he cares what I think about his book. He hasn't invited me personally to say, "Hey, tell me what you think about my work." You know, I'm sure he probably would be interested to know, but he doesn't have to because I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fanboy. And people go, "Oh, you're Graham Hancock." Oh, let me tell you something. That guy is more of a scientist without even trying than most of the scientists I've heard speak. Graham is a hero. Eric von Daniken is a hero. I want to be a hero like that, where we talk about the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, and we address the big fat gray alien in the room, as my friend Garrett said earlier, and we address this topic. And the way that we do that is we have to bring attention to it. We have to call these people on the carpet. We must hold them to account for the words of their voice. When you have the most famous astrophysicist on the planet, who, by the way, has made no discoveries, no breakthroughs, and hasn't published a science paper since 2008. He's 2000 and late on this subject. He has no qualifications to make any statement about aliens, UAPs, or alien abductions, unless he's going to talk to someone like me, which I hope that you go to Star Talk and you forward this video and you say, "Are you brave enough to debate this guy?" Because I will tear him limb from limb, metaphorically speaking, that he has no shot. And that's why they won't talk to me. I've had two people say that they wanted to have a debate with me, and both of them at the last second have bailed and bailed and bailed because they know I'm prepared, because I know this subject matter and I know science. I'm not just an alien abduction survivor, but I'm a scientist. I'm a scientific person. And so, therefore, I know exactly all of their rebuttals. I know how illogical they are, and I don't mind calling them out. Um, you should bring up the craft that I saw, the one you captured, and the one on the news, dear. Oh, thank you, Emmy. Yeah. So one of the things that we can do, and thank you for being here again. It really, really means a lot. Sorry about the background. I'm kind of in the middle of trying to change things and rearrange my life and stuff, and so I'm in a transitional phase. I am a chrysalis, a caterpillar in a cocoon, waiting to emerge, a pupa, if you will. And I'm waiting to become a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. But in the meantime, thank you for, um, putting up with my awkward phase here on YouTube. Yeah. So the other day, Emmy got a hold of me and she was like, "I saw this thing. I saw it quickly, but this is what I saw." And so I was like, "Oh, that sounds really familiar to me. In fact, I think I have a picture of that I actually caught on my security camera." It was at the time of the eclipse. And this is about putting together evidence. Like, we gather evidence in a pile and we say consistency across the board, right? That it's not just a one off, a one time thing. We say, "Oh, well, this object that you saw has been photographed here. And it's not just been photographed there, but it was caught on a security camera over there." And so now we have a conglomeration of this evidence, a consistency, that it's weird that all of these people are seeing and photographing the same thing in different places. You see, I saw there was a video that someone had made where they had seen a craft and they were videoing it, and it was during the eclipse, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at that! It's hanging out for the eclipse, I guess." And then uh, the next, like, within 12 hours, I caught the exact same object on my security camera. The exact same object, same dimensions, the height, width, and length, the same shape, the same proportions, the same metallic surface. And this is the same thing that she described to me. And I'm like, yeah. So we have these things. For instance, the Eupen triangle. One time I saw a black triangle with a red center and a white light in each corner hover and go right over my house, like 70 feet in the air. It was so low, I could have hit it with a softball underhand, and so slow that I could walk at the same pace. And this was one of my first major sightings that I had. And I went immediately to the computer and I typed in black triangle UFO, hit enter, and oh my God, this had been seen in Eupen, Belgium. When I saw this, it was in 2006. The photograph that I saw was of exactly the same object from 10 years prior in 1996 in another country, you see. And we have these consistencies that these aren't just one-offs, some weird thing you saw once that nobody else has ever seen. We've been capturing these long enough that now we have a database for comparison. Um, and so, what's up, Garrett? It's stories like those that make me fascinated more about the intelligence inside the craft. They'll either watch the eclipse or they will hover low to your house, obviously, to catch your attention. Well, so I have opinions about that. Um, that yeah, I think some of them are here for the eclipse. There's all kinds of agendas, you see. Now, I know one of the main agendas, which is the scientific, they're trying to um, turn back the clock on their evolution to save their species from extinction. But also, we are a tourist planet. I'm sure some of them come here just to, hey, look at the humans, wave at the talking monkeys, everybody. Um, but I think the reason that they are so low sometimes is because they're purposely trying to evade detection. Anything under 100 feet can't be picked up by radar, you see. And I noticed this pattern when I was being abducted, when I had UFOs landing on my property practically every night for a while. And here's what I would notice: I would see them in the sky. Okay. I would see them come in and they would swoop really low. They would drop almost straight down or at a very steep angle that aircraft can't do. And they would get below radar and then go very slowly. And then I would see burn marks and weird geometric shapes in the yard that can't be explained in conjunction with these sightings. And what I realized they're doing is they come in under the radar, but you can still be caught with FLIR. Your heat can still be detected, even if you um, evade radar. If they send out FLIR, they'll see your heat signature coming in from the cold of space. You're going to heat up quite a bit, so you'll glow like the sun in front of a FLIR. So what they do is they land in a populated area, cloaked, of course, and they will wait for the heat to dissipate. That heat actually is what burns those marks into the ground, along with, I'm sure, some type of residual radiation. And then once they've reached the ambient temperature of their environment, they will pick up, stay under radar, and now go wherever they want to go. They have us scoped. They have us figured out. There is no bouncer at the door of the club here. They can just walk right in. Yeah. And that's why this subject must be addressed, because we are a house with no locked doors. Imagine that. Okay? Think about that for a moment. How would you like to live in a house where you can never lock the doors? The doors and the windows are open all the time. Would you feel safe? Does that make you feel comfortable knowing that at any time someone can just walk into your house and do whatever they want? Because that's our planet, in case you are unaware, in case that isn't, clicking with you. That's our planet. We are a house with completely open doors and windows, and anything and anyone can come in. We are unsafe because we say, oh, there's nothing out there to come in. Sure, until it does. But then you come in and people are things come up missing or their stuff been moved around and people go, it feels like someone's been in the house. Yeah, they have. And just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean they haven't been there. You see what they have left behind. You see the evidence. You just refuse to accept it. That's not uh, a great way of thinking. That's not perpetuating truth. That's not making us safer. Denial of a subject has never made us safer. And so this is why I want people like Neil deGrasse Tyson to debate me personally. Don't run, don't hide, don't make excuses. This is a guy uh, who has no problem trying to shut people down and make an example out of them and put his big intellect on display with his little catchphrase bumper sticker wisdom. Try me. Please, I invite Neil deGrasse Tyson to please put me in my place. Don't make a video about me. Make it with me. Talk to me and hear what I have to say back to you in real time. And I think you're going to find this man getting rocked back on his heels and exposed as a pseudo intellectual, a fraudulent scientist, because I already proved to you in this video that he lies to you. There are no extraordinary claims. There is no extraordinary evidence. There are only claims and there are only evidence, and that is how science works. Now, if anybody has any last minute questions, any last minute comments they want to say to me, I'm going to wrap up here in just a few minutes, but I want to say thank you, and thank you a million times for, yes, baby, I'm coming. The kitties. It's almost treat time for the kids, and so they're getting restless. Um, but I want to say I love you for being here. Thank you for your support. Debbie, Emmy, Chris, Garrett, all you guys. It's so great to see everyone. Thank you for being here. It's always just it's like friends, you know? All my friends are here and we're having a conversation. Um, but please consider supporting the channel. Look in the channel or the video description below and click on one of the links and find out how you can support this channel, because that's how we keep the truth going. That's how we keep people like me from being just absolutely overwhelmed by the giants of disinformation. This is how we compete with the Simon Dans and the planer walks and all those guys, is we have to raise the voices of people we believe. And I hope you do believe me, because I have no interest in perpetuating a lie over decades for nothing. My life just does not work that way, and I don't work that way. Um, so let's see what we got here. Uh, Always love hearing you, big bro. You're a true human, not a stereotype blinded by fame. Neil's become so popular that he's a stereotype of himself. Yes, he's a caricature of himself, isn't he? And has forgotten what's important. Truth, truth, and more truth. Maximum truth, please. You know, send my video to Casper's site. Have him look at some of my videos. Neil deGrasse Tyson at Star Talk, directly challenging you, sir. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Do you dare pick it up? I highly doubt it, but I would love it if you did, because we have lots to talk about, and you, sir, for a change, have a lot to learn. Um, I love you guys. I love you, Emmy. I love you guys, all of you. And I'm going to go ahead and go. And I hope you watch this a few times. I hope you give this um, the attention that it deserves, and that you pass it along to others who need to hear this hard truth. Guys, there's things being done to us by a species that we refuse to admit exists. It's like if people were eaten by bears and people are denying the existence of bears. It's not going to stop us from being eaten. Uh, it's not going to stop the phenomenon by denying it. It only makes it worse. It only makes it easier for them to do it to us. And why would anyone want things like that to be done to people? To be done to people like me, people like Emmy, people like Chris, people like Garrett? Why would anybody want to do that? Why would anyone say that's okay with me? The only reason they say it's okay with them is because they believe people like Neil deGrasse Tyson. They believe Michio Kaku, who says, "Oh, well, we've studied these frame by frame, and they don't. They don't act like they don't look like anything human made. They're made of materials that withstand forces we can't make. The pilots could not withstand these forces. They do transmedium motion, which we can't do. But we need evidence. Like, what are you talking about? That's a lie. That we don't need evidence. We have evidence. We have to look at the evidence objectively and see what it's telling us. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and talks like a duck, now, God damn it, it's a duck. If these things can't be made by humans, the materials can't be made by humans, if it operates in things that humans can't make, if it moves in ways that humans can't move, if it applies forces that humans can't endure, then it cannot be human. And if it is not human, it is by definition someone else. And it can't be anything else on this planet because people populate this planet. So if it isn't people on this planet making these things, it must be people from some other place. And if it is some other place, then by definition, it is extraterrestrial, off world. People seem to think, well, maybe they're extra dimensional. Fine, but they're not of this planet. Extraterrestrial means off planet. And these are being made by intelligences that are off planet. And they are coming here and they are running amok. They're doing whatever they want to us. And I'm one of them. And now I'm fucking sick of it. And I think it's time that we stand up and we make our voices heard. And the people who believe us stand behind us. They support us. They support our work. They support our bravery, our courage in standing up and saying no more. We confront the military. We confront the government. We confront the scientists. And they don't tell us. We tell them. Yes. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And until the next time, keep your eye on the sky, guys.